Welcome back to another episode of Divine Journey 2. In the last episode, we worked on automating a few different resources that we're going to need a ton of, as well as setting up a little ore processing area. So, I think the plan for today is we're going to automate these 5 different resources, mainly rosin, energized dark ingots, mithril, GP powder, and ARF powder, as they're going to be used quite a bit in the pack progression. So I've gathered up all the machines for both resin and energized dark ingots, since they're the easiest to craft. So yeah, let's get going. Alright, to actually get our dark stuff set up, we need to basically crush down coal, put it in a magma crucible to get liquefacted coal, and then run it through two fractioning stills, and then into a fluid transposer where I think it's 100 to 1. Yeah, 1 dark ingot and 100 refined fuel gets us energized dark ingots. Okay, I've set up the 5 different machines, and I've also filtered the back of this to accept coal. The pulverized coal gets magma crucibled into liquefacted coal, and that gets turned into tar and both naphtha. The tar is just going to go into a drawer on top, and the naphtha is going to go into another fractioning still. That's actually going to get refined fuel and also sulfur, which gets its own drawer. And then the refined fuel is just going to sit here, and I have to add a import for dark ingots to this fluid transposer real quick. Okay, it's been a few days since the last clip, and mainly a couple more additions to this wall I've added is coal cloak, as well as we now have automated energized dark ingots, and we also have somewhat automated tree fuel, I think this is, or resin rather. And basically the way to automate resin is you just need to use one of these arboreal extractors, and then an input side has to be touching the base of this tree. So I just have 2 set up. I have one on that side and one on this side. And basically that just runs up a conduit all the way up here into a buffer tank, into a fractioning still, which will process it into tree oil, and then that will just go into that top buffer chest, and then we'll get our rosin in that drawer as well. Speaking of which, I probably have to upgrade that because I don't think I have a lot of rosin left over. I've also added to our ingot wall, we now have electrical steel, Osgo glass, Enderium base, Enderium, and Signalum on passive now. And I think that's it. Also, I made this little room here because this is where we're actually going to set up the rainbow generator. To actually set up our rainbow generator, we need 2 of each extra utilities generator, 1 for the actual craft of the rainbow generator, and 1 for actual processing to make the generator run, as you need all 16 running at once, and that's how the generator is actually going to make power. But yeah, these crafts are a little annoying because some are nested in between, like the nether star requires the death, which requires the furnace, which takes all that. So I've set up some AE patterns for the generators, and I'm just gonna craft 2 of each and I'll be back. Okay, I've gathered up 2 of every generator that we need, and we can craft our rainbow generator. And we have to do this in halves, so here's the first half, and here's the top half. Alright, and to actually get our generator, we just have to combine the 2 halves, and there we go. One of the resources we actually need to automate for the slime generator is milk buckets, and to do that, I made this animal rancher from Industrial Foregoing, and pretty much when you supply with enough range add-ons and enough entities, like cows for example, it'll give milk, and then you just have to supply buckets, and then I just have a filtered conduit with milk buckets extracting into a fluid tank, and then the empty buckets should go into the correct slots, and then there's a storage bus on it, so we can just request milk buckets from our system and put it in the generator. in between clips there, I upgraded both our induction cell as well as the induction provider to ultimate and advanced. And the induction provider basically just allows more in out per tick. So we're up to 13 million per tick from, I think it was, what is it, 25,000 from the basic. And we can now store 3.2 billion, I think that is, giga RF, yeah, up from 400 million. So I ran an AE connection down here, and we should only need about 2 or 3 interfaces to get all the items for this. So yeah, I'm just gonna filter all these real quick. So for both the magmatic generator as well as the heated redstone generator, we need lava. So I put a mechanism pump in the nether, and I made another dimensional transceiver. So if I put this on the right channel and just set the extract, it should fill these up. Yep, okay. And then for heated redstone, it takes one more step, which is it just needs redstone dust. So I'm just gonna filter that in real quick. And then we just need to supply redstone from our ME system, and it should go into the generator. For the death generator, it probably just gonna use rotten flesh since that's what we have the most out of. For the ender generator, we're just using ender pearls. For the explosive generator, we're just using gunpowder. For the frosty generator, I made a glacial precipitator and we're just using ice. And for the culinary generator, since we're farming wild wheat, I'm just crafting that into wild wheat bread, and that's what we're using for the culinary generator, since it lasts for 30 seconds. For the next 4 generators, halitosis is just dragon's breath, and we're not going to automate this since it takes 10 minutes per anyway, so this will last a while, and if we need more, then I'll just go grab more. But after that is pink, and we're low on beetroot right now for red dye, because I just set that up at the farm. But basically, we're turning beetroot into rose red, and then combining that with bone meal to get the pink dye, and that's just going in the pink generator. And I think this is fucked up right now. Ah, there we go. Yeah, alright, it's crafting pink dye now. And then for a potion generator, we're just using water bottles right now. And there's a giant buffer, so it looks like it should be able to keep up for the most part, but we'll have to check on that again. And then for slimy, we're just using slime balls, which we're farming, and milk, which we're farming. And then the empty buckets from the milk just get sent back into the interface, and it's just a repeating cycle. Alright, here's our last row of generators. The disenchantment generator, we're going to use Flim Flam 4 books, which not only can they be crafted with a book and 4 emeralds, but they last for 33 minutes each, which is pretty nice. For the survival generator, the furnace generator, and the overclock generator, we're just using coal blocks. So yeah, there's all 16 of our generators automated. So I've looked online, and a lot of people are actually using the RF Tools timer with their rainbow generator setups, and that's since the rainbow generator only checks every 11 ticks if all 16 generators are running. So it's actually a good tool to help throttle these, especially for this potion generator, which is probably going to be the big problem. But yeah, as you can see, I also ran it a little bit, and it filled up in like 2 seconds, so that's pretty fun. And we can also see that we're using about 7,000 RF per tick passively, keeping up all of our basic automation and stuff. And that's probably going to rise quite a bit. So yeah, we're probably going to expand this as well to hold more RF and input-output more RF as well. Now that we have our rainbow generator set up, the next thing we actually need is some of this rainbow stone, which just takes stone burnt in the resonator, but it requires an active rainbow generator. So being as such, I think the first thing we're going to invest in is a dragon egg mill, as this will give us 500 GP. Or what is this? 10,000? I don't know. I believe it's 500. But yeah, that takes 2 pieces of rainbow stone, so we have to run this for a minute 20 each, which is a little annoying. So yeah, I'll be back when this finishes. Alright, there's our 2 pieces of rainbow stone. And to actually make this function, all we have to do is just place a dragon egg on top. And now we have 1500 GP to our name. Alright, now that we have a big buffer of GP, I think it's a good time to actually automate Mithril Ingots, GP Powder, and RF Powder, as well as the other Mana Dust and Demon Lord too. And to actually do that, we need automated Demon Ingots, which is basically just throwing gold ingots into lava. And that's what this little setup does. So behind here, I have a level emitter set to 256 Demon Ingots, and it'll emit when it's below. And it's going into a torch, into a timer that's set on 1 second, into a vanilla dropper, because that's the only thing that seemed to work. And then the drops are just getting picked up by this ranged collector. So if I take enough out, it should start. And obviously it's not 100%, that's why we can't request it with 82. But yeah, there's automated demon ingots. And obviously it'll shut off once the buffer is filled. Like that. Okay, I've taken some time between clips here, and we now have a system that fully automates stone burnt, lunar reactive dust, bottles of enchanting, demon lord ingots, RF powder, and GP powder. And basically, the way we're making GP and RF powder is just with an RF Tools crafter. And GP powder is easy. I just have it basically, it's crafting normally, and then it's just cycling out into the drawer, and then there's a conduit on the drawer that puts it back into this. And then for the RF powder, for the thermal conductor rod, there's mending on it, and once one craft is done, it gets extracted and it goes into this Ender IO tank with liquid XP. It gets repaired, and then it gets put back into the crafter, so it pretty much never breaks, and it's an infinite cycle. And then for the bottles of enchanting, there's a open blocks XP bottler down here with glass bottles, and then bronze blend is just the mechanism crusher up there. And same thing with the crushed black quartz and the diamond dust. There's 2 mechanism crushers. And then for stone burnt, there's this formulaic assembler, which just takes RF powder and combines it with stone to get polished stone. And that goes in here, and then into the drawer. And then for lunar reactive dust, I made a alloy smelter up there, and then I just have it pulling from the interface. Where is it? Over here. It goes into the resonator, makes it, and then into the drawer. And I think that's everything. Yeah. I also, there's a alloy smelter here for demon lord ingots, and yeah, that's everything. I realized I forgot to add mana dust and mithril to this wall, so now we have it. And the mana dust is just in an RF Tools crafter, nothing special about that. And same with the mithril, it's just limited item filtered into an alloy smelter. And then the outputs just go in here. And then there's some trim to connect these drawers up to the network. And I also added a drawer for pink slime ingots and electrum. The way we're getting pink slime balls is there's a fluid placer right there that places the pink slime, and then eventually it'll turn into the actual mob and then get killed by the crusher. And then it'll just go into this drawer that's set to 4 on this. And then above this, I have a redstone upgrade in this drawer that goes into a comparator, and then there's a redstone line that just goes and disables this fluid placer once there's enough inside the drawer. And then I have a storage bus on the drum down there hooking it up, so that's what's providing this with pink slime. I think another thing we're gonna make, since we also have Rainbow Stone, is the Quantum Quarry. So I've put in the patterns for such, and yeah, it's pretty long craft, so I'm gonna get these started. And we need 6 actuators to go around the side. We actually need more chiseled stone and pulsating iron. But those are just buffers, so they'll fill up. But yeah, I'm gonna craft these 2 things, and I'll be back. I was originally not going to set up this quantum quarry since this builder was more than sufficient for our current resource needs, but I had a look through the next chapter and it seems next chapter is abyssal craft, and for that we actually need corallium ore, which I believe can only be made or only be gotten from the quantum quarry. So it looks like we are going to set it up. So to actually set up this quantum quarry, all you have to do is just place the quarry block in the middle and then surround it with these actuators. And you actually have to click on the quarry, otherwise it won't place, which is odd. There we go, there's our little quantum quarry. And we can actually put enchanted books in there, like Silk Touch or Fortune, and it'll actually Silk or Fortune all yours, as well as a biome marker, which is actually going to change the biome the quarry mines in. So to actually get our corallium ore, we need to mine in a swampland. So I just went to a swampland and then right-clicked, and then this biomarker turned into a swampland. And then the last thing we have to do is give it an inventory and some power. I don't know why I have another one, but yeah, there we go. And eventually, we should get our corallium ore. Also, I had a look through JI, and it seems you can also get this from the industrial foregoing laser drill, but honestly, this is way faster than that. So I think I'm just going to stick with this, and hopefully we should get it soon. I've actually changed out this biomarker to a corallium infested swamp, and now it looks like we're getting a little bit of corallium. So yeah. And with that being said, I think I'm going to end this episode here. So yeah, thanks for watching.